Lesson 44, Getting File Names. Well, when we talk about interacting with the person running the macro, sometimes we need to ask them to go find a file, or after we've created a report, to specify the name for the file. And this is something you don't want to do with an input box because they have to specify the path name. It's really hard to do that. Microsoft gives us two really good tools for this, and we're going to talk about those in this lesson. So let's get started. All right, let's switch over to Visual Basic and we'll see the two methods that we have here. So let's say that we have a macro that creates a report, and of course there's lots of code that goes through and creates the report and creates it in a new workbook, and it's about ready to save it. But we don't want to just automatically save it. We want to ask the person who's ran the macro, where do we want to save this? And so we use a method called application.getSaveAsFileName. And you can specify a file filter if you'd like that requires them to type in XLSX file, for example. And let's just run this and you'll see how it works. So we press F8, and when we run this item, what it does is it pops up the Save As dialog box with all of the cool things that we have in Save As. So I can create a new folder, I can change the views, I can go to the desktop, I can do anything that I need to do in Save As. So this is obviously very powerful. Let's go into the post folder and just create something called sample Save As, and we'll do save. Okay, now here's something real important. That method did not save the file. All it did was it displayed the dialog box and allowed them to specify the file, and returns it back to us in a variable. The variable has both the path and the file name. So if we run this next line of code, you'll see that it's C users public documents LLVBA post sample save as.xlsx. And then it's up to the macro to actually do the save. All right, so active workbook.save as file name, and then use the variable. Okay, so application.getSaveAsFileName, just a great way to allow them to browse for where they want to save the file. They get to navigate to the folders. They get to do, use all the functionality of the Save As dialog box, but it doesn't actually save. It just returns the name to us. The other example is where we want them to go find a file to process. So in this case, we use application.getOpenFileName. Let's run this one, and you'll see what it does. It displays the open dialog box, and because I didn't specify a file filter, it's all files. So again, we can go to any of our folders here. We can navigate, and when we actually choose a file, it doesn't open the file. All it does is it returns it to a variable, and then it's up to us to use workbooks.open the file name. And just like get save as file name, it tells us the entire path that they specified. Now you have to watch out here because it's possible for them to specify cancel. And if they specify cancel, it's going to return the word false. So you almost always want to have a little check here that says, if file name equals false, then do something, right? Otherwise, we have this line of code. So just be aware that you might get a false in response to this. Not much you can do. Maybe you can display a message box and say, hey, you're not allowed to say cancel, or I'm going to keep asking you until you actually specify a file. Or, maybe they have a good reason for canceling. You can be nice and say, oh, is there some reason why you want to end this macro without saving? Whatever. So just a couple of great little tools here. Much easier to use this dialog box that's built in rather than try and define a user form. As you'll see in the next lesson, defining user forms is a real hassle to go through and do that. And so if you just have to get a file name, either the file that we want to save as or the file that we need to open, definitely use one of these two methods. Fast way to go. Well, I hope you found this lesson helpful, and thanks for watching.
Looking to advance your career by acquiring new skills? Tired of expensive off-site training programs? Wish you could learn from the best instructors in the industry? Look no further than live lessons. Self-paced, personal video instruction by the world's leading technology publishers. Each live lesson comes with a DVD featuring 3 to 4 hours of instructor-led classroom training, sample program code that allows you to work along with your personal instructor, and an example-rich study guide. Live lessons allow you to watch the entire course from start to finish, or navigate directly to any of the individual lessons. You'll literally watch over the shoulder of your instructor as he shows you how to build state-of-the-art applications. Live lessons, the power of the world's leading technology experts at your fingertips. To learn more, visit mylivelessons.com today.